Okay, so today we're going to be going back to certain videos that had some controversial takes and controversial thoughts. Yes, I'm going to tell you guys my experience posting those videos and how people received them.
And also, like, we've been discussing about how many things have changed, like your perspective.
Yes, sometimes I made some videos that received some backlash, and sometimes I'm like,
Low-key, they have a point.
yes, we as humans always change our perspectives. Definitely. Okay, so the first video is Jin, a silver voice that deserves more.
We're going to have to wait what we already waited for when he released his first solo song, because Awake came out in 2016 and Epiphany came out in 2018. So the wait is the same, except that this time we will get Jin's official first solo album.
This video actually was so controversial because of the title. The content, it's not controversial at all. Jin was about to go to the military, so I decided to make like a, I don't know if like a tribute video, but some kind of like exploring his past music. He didn't have like a solo album, so I reviewed or did like a little introduction to each one of his songs. And the title that I used back then was Jin, an underrated silver voice. And people were so mad that I used the word underrated. I was just starting the channel, so I didn't know what to do, how to respond, so I decided to change the title to A Silver Voice That Deserves More. And still people will be like, it's the same, you're saying the same thing. It's just that I don't know why it's such a bad word. Guys, BTS is underrated. They are celebrated, yes, but not as the artists they are. BTS does so much, and Jin has such an amazing voice. And yes, he is celebrated by us. It just means not enough people appreciate it. Exactly. That's what I meant, and I think I kind of stand by what I said.
I remember that you made this video and it really hurt you the way people took it, like
Yes.
the way some people took it, because you know when you make a controversial video and you're ready for it, but you know also when you make a video just for armies, so you kind of know what the response is gonna be.
This was an emotional time. Like, Jin was about to leave for the military, and I just wanted to celebrate Jin for everything he's done. And I get all of this backlash because of using the word underrated, which I still think that it's not a bad word.
I think calling somebody underrated is a
compliment. Yes.
I don't know if they misunderstood.
I think they didn't. I felt, how do I say this? People don't like when BTS is not like always seen at the top. So BTS is always celebrated and it's always number one. And if you say they are underrated, that's a lie, because they are so celebrated. So back then, I had to write a comment says, guys, I used underrated because even though his voice is critically acclaimed, like I mentioned multiple times in the video, he's still underrated, just like BTS is underrated. They are recognized to some extent, but for their level of talent and art, Jin and BTS deserve way more recognition than what they have now. It's not an insult, it's a wake-up call for music fans and the general public to give them more recognition.
Hear this comment and tell me if you agree. Bora calling someone underrated for me means that they have so much value and amazing talent, but still deserve even more recognition even outside of ARMY.
Yes, that was my point, basically. I would say that and people would answer, but the Grammy Museum said this and he received this award about him, and it's like, sure, but that is not enough, in my opinion. That is not enough. I still think he and BTS is underrated. So I stand by everything I said. I think it is about English semantics sometimes. When you say underrated, it can come across wrong, but when you say BTS is underrated by the Grammys, it provides clarification. Yes, I definitely think it's about semantics. Next video. So this video is called Is the HYBE Family a Thing?
HYBE has many labels with different sounds and styles. Some of these labels try to follow Big Hit's mission of authenticity, but others don't. Some labels under HYBE strictly follow the K-pop system, but other labels don't.
For that video, I even had to make the only clarification video that I have ever done. Basically, I mentioned how different HYBE groups follow some of BTS's principles, maybe like Big Hit's principles. Not HYBE, Big Hit. And basically, I compare the way the other labels in HYBE act. And when I do that, I'm basically comparing the new HYBE groups, because HYBE has bought some labels and has created some new labels. My point is that HYBE bought Pledis, I think it's called, and they have a group. I didn't mention the group because they have nothing to do with HYBE, and that was the main point. Because that was everything.
Yeah.
In the video, I have sections for Les Seraphim, New Jeans, and Hypen. Yes, that was the group. Those 3 groups were the ones that I talked about the most in this video. And I didn't mention an all group because they are doing things the way that they've done them forever. I also didn't mention a solo artist and another female group. Nobody cared about those because those are not that popular. But I didn't mention their one group, and everyone was like, you're talking about songwriting and how it's so important to Hype. Why are you mentioning this group? Because they have nothing to do with Hype. Their songwriting has nothing to do with Hype. I also mentioned GFriend did not write their songs. They became part of Hype and said, thank you, Hype, for letting us write our songs. That is Hype influence. So that was all the backlash and the controversy because I didn't mention their group. First of all, this channel is not about that. This title does not mention BTS, and that was a mistake. From then on, I've always put
BTS related. BTS.
Yes, even if I didn't come up with a good title with the words BTS, then I put slash BTS video essay. There was just so much misunderstanding because I felt like K-pop stans watched this video more than anything else. And I forgot to have a language that K-pop stans would understand. No, not in that way. Not in that way. In the sense that, when you talk to armies, you don't need to over-explain certain things about BTS. But when I make videos that I know are going to reach K-pop fans, I try to clarify things that guys, no, that was not my intention. Scripts are made different for different audiences. For example, I mentioned in the original video the difference between TXT and Enhypen, and how Enhypen does not have the songwriting is important mentality from Big Hit because they are not from Big Hit. And I said that TXT does. I compared their first 2 years. Big mistake because people would misinterpret everything and they would say TXT is actually 4 years old, not 2 years old. Have you guys watched the video? I compared the first 2 years. I'm just comparing the first 2 years
of TXT and the first
2 years of Enhypen. In their first 2 years, TXT has writing credits, while Enhypen has none. Actually, in their first 2 years, TXT wrote for Enhypen before Enhypen wrote for themselves. So there is a difference in the way their labels work. I sometimes think like people, yes, they are dumb to understand, but sometimes it's just not. I remember that in the comment section for this original video, people call me a hater and biased of everything. You love TXT so much, you're showing your bias and you give them so much credit. And other people would say you dislike TXT and you are not giving them enough credit. And it's like everyone was
One thing would be, I hate this group. They are horrible. I would understand the hate.
I'm just saying all of this because we're talking about the labels, about the Hype family. I'm trying to get into the mindset of the label. Why are they trying to make this group write their songs and this other group not write their songs? It's beyond your group. It's not about me liking or disliking your group. It's about the label. That is what the video is about.
Exactly. Someone said the sound effects are crazy.
Some people told me, don't explain anything.
And I remember I told you when you did it, you told me like, I'm gonna do a clarification video. I was like, I don't think you should.
I was speaking to the wrong audience. I had to change the way I speak to different audiences, and I forgot that not everyone is going to get it sometimes. This one, I stand by what I've said, but I do think it needs a remake or maybe it needs some corrections. I don't know.
People,
no.
no.
Okay, then needs
Probably
some
correction.
Anyways, next.
No matter what the industry does, BTS will continue having the fandom support others fail to conquer.
Okay, so this video is basically about the ways BTS's independence from the music industry terrifies them. And I remember that when I made this video, this title was not the title. When I make my scripts, I have titles that basically say my idea, but are not going to be the title. Usually the title comes last after I have the thumbnail and everything. So basically the draft had this title, which is Why the Music Industry is Terrified of BTS. And then I said, it's too strong. Like, terrified is a little strong when I know who is going to be my audience.
Your audience.
I knew this video is mostly going to be watched by general public. So my language is according to that. However, the title is too strong for the general public.
I think it's a good title.
I think it's too strong.
What would you say? They're a little bit scared.
So
someone said threatened.
Yes, Threaten is
Okay.
like a better word because I know that the audience for this is the general public.
Yes.
This was the draft title and I forgot to change it. I don't know what happened. Like
You
it was,
just type it because it's the truth, and you were like, "There's nothing wrong with saying the truth."
I forgot.
So you
to
just posted it like,
I forgot.
"It's okay."
I forgot to change it, and now it's been years. So at this point, who cares? I don't think it needs.
I don't think you need to remake.
I don't think either. Of course, I can talk more about this, so maybe a part 2, but not a remake. My big problem is the title, really.
I
God.
love the title because sometimes people just need a little slap on the face.
Yes, but I remember 1 or 2 reaction channels who are like terrified. Like, why would they be terrified? It's just too strong for the general public.
I understand your point.
Thank you.
They might take it like, oh, like that's so condescending, or like why would she say that?
Yes. Oh, this is a fan saying it.
Exactly. Like this is so biased. It's literally just a title.
I've said everything. I've talked about Spotify and YouTube and the deleted views and the paid ads, and I think it's fine. Okay, next.
Some armies didn't really care about the fact that this collaboration was with Charlie Puth. There is a lot of discussion about this feeling being reasonable or just part of Charlie Puth's hate train.
This one is about Charlie Puth. This.
Oh my goodness, I remember this.
Let me explain my thought process while making this video. When I started the channel, I knew that I was going to focus on BTS. However, I didn't realize that I would enjoy so much focusing 100% on BTS. And I said like, why can I not talk like artists around BTS? And then I realized that that was boring for me, for the audience. It was unnecessary. It was one of my very first videos. I don't think I would make a video like this today. I even thought of deleting the video because
Crazy.
this video is just so not my channel. If I continue making videos like this, I will make videos about basically every single artist BTS collaborated with because people are not going to like certain artists. And also remember that the more you dislike an artist, the more chances are that BTS are going to go out and hang out with them and collaborate. So
it has happened.
it has happened a lot of times. Like you said, just because BTS collaborates with someone doesn't mean that I'm going to become a fan.
Somebody said, I might check them out, but that's it. Exactly. Like if I discover them through BTS and I like them, that's a whole different story.
That's another story.
but I'm not gonna just support somebody just because they supported BTS.
Next video.
Don't expect the global BTS style of promotions for every solo project and cry when that doesn't happen. Think about the sound and their personalities individually.
This one is about promotion strategies. I analyzed every single one of the solo promotions, and people were talking about how Jungkook is more promoted on the West, but Taeyeon is not promoted enough, or Jimin didn't have enough time, or Yoongi has a whole tour, so why doesn't this other member has it? I tried to explain how the different members have a vision for their own projects, and sometimes they don't want to promote where we want them to promote.
Exactly.
And that should be okay. The biggest criticism that I received was that I'm basically saying that all of these promotion strategies, yes, they were different and they were good because they were different. When some armies are saying, sure, but these were not all the best decisions. I understand their point. People criticizing my video are saying that basically they could have done more to bring that audience.
I understand.
They haven't done enough. And I'm like, well, you are right. I accept the criticism from this video. I like this video.
I guess it's still a good video. I think you should still stand by it because
I like it. I
Exactly.
agree with everything that I've said, but
it's just that
I understand.
they do have a point.
They do have a point.
Exactly.
Like, yes, just because the promotion strategy was different doesn't mean that it was perfect.
There could have been so many other ways to make the audience they wanted
Yes.
way more involved.
Yes. However, I'm going to say BTS and their label, sometimes when they are trying to target new audiences, they are experimenting because this is new for them. I'm not going to be over judgmental because J-Hope was the first member to release his album, and when he first released his album, he didn't have physical albums. He just released the Weverse albums, and that does not add to the Billboard charts. And people criticized the label for that. And then we realized that that was not the label's decision. J-Hope wanted to have some kind of digital album, and then we got the physical albums like a year later because their label learned that they have to release physical albums. They have to. They didn't know how important the physical albums were. But guess what? They learned. Since that moment, all they've done is release physical album. They now know the importance of physical albums. So I'm not going to be over judgmental. However, I do see people who disagreed with my video and I see their point.
I think this is not a video that you should change, but it's something you could add. Maybe some corrections here and there, but I do believe that the video was okay.
I think it needs a remake. I don't know.
Shaking my head.
Guys.
Everyone just wants you to stand by every video.
I think it needs some corrections. Maybe an evolution. Yes, I think
An update.
an update. Yes. Next video is the next BTS, why they fail every time.
Let your performers become artists. Let them be small so they can grow. And let them grow organically. Because that was BTS's story. And they did not become the next somebody. They became the first BTS.
Okay, so this is not like controversy, but I don't like saying that some people are dumb. Listen, I don't like saying that.
You're
but-
not gonna say it though.
But I am though. Like but I am going to say it. Listen, English is my second language and sometimes I read sentences wrong 100%. However, the fact that anyone could read this title, The Next BTS, Why They Fail Every Time, and think, wait, are you trying to say that there's a next BTS?
Oh my goodness.
The fact that there's more than one, it's worrying to me. No, for real.
They read the title, quote unquote, the next BTS.
Yeah, important. The quotes
The
are
quotes
important.
are important.
Because they mean something.
Why they fail every time? It's not a question, it's a statement.
And then they
And
think,
they're like, yeah, I think.
are you a BTS
Are you about
hater?
to say my fave?
Are you saying there is a next BTS? And you know what's the worst part? Sometimes comments in the comment section are just like trolling or whatever. These are reaction videos. No, it was crazy to me that one person would think that.
Exactly. Somebody said the word fail is literally on the title.
Literally, that's what I'm saying. What shocked me was the reaction to the title,
title.
which in my opinion is perfectly fine.
People just be playing dumb. I hope that's my faith in humanity.
You know what? I hope so too.
Uh-huh.
I hope they're just playing dumb for the reaction.
For the reaction.
Yes.
I think you should stand by this video.
You know what? I do. Okay, next. This is why most armies don't like K-pop.
This is the moment when most armies start realizing that BTS is an anomaly in K-pop. Armies do give other groups a chance, but if they don't like the music, then there really isn't a reason to become a fan.
Another mistake of this is not using BTS in the title. I don't like saying the BTS army, but sometimes on titles and stuff, I have to say the entire thing. One of the big controversies was the thumbnail. And let me explain.
Oh my goodness,
Let me
I'm so
explain.
tired.
When
I
I-
love that thumbnail. I don't understand the problem with it.
The problem with this thumbnail is that I used, quote unquote, unprovoked, the pictures of these two K-pop idols. I used the least controversial, recognizable K-pop idols I could find. For really, really hardcore K-pop stans, they are recognizable.
Yeah.
But for the common K-pop listener or the common person on the internet, they're not. And I
Exactly.
did that on purpose because I
Like there
didn't.
was a purpose.
I didn't
behind
want
it.
to make anyone mad and have like these crazy, like big names or whatever. Like I didn't want that. I only
Like,
see
I don't
Jimmy.
know who these people are, but like sorry to these people, but that's fine.
Sorry. that was kind of my point. In this video, I explained why most armies don't like K-pop, and the main point is basically they are not, because BTS fans are mostly general public, and sometimes they become K-pop fans, yes, but a lot of times they don't. That is all. Like I even had to do like a comment. In the video I say, writing and producing your own songs was not a thing in K-pop. What I meant by that was that being a songwriter was not really a thing fans paid attention to. It was only after BTS that I saw people talking about a composer line or a songwriter position, but they didn't care about it before. Of course, there were K-pop idols who wrote their music before BTS, but it was not as celebrated as it is today. Since BTS rose to fame, became the biggest group in the world, I remember that back in 2022 when I made this video, people talk about composer line. That didn't exist in K-pop.
Because you can totally see that before BTS and after BTS. Before BTS, it was something
100%.
that will happen sometimes. It was something that will happen. It will be like a special occasion.
Because in 2017 and 2018, BTS were mostly celebrated because of their songwriting. That was like the way armies would promote BTS somehow. Yes, like K-pop is this, but BTS writes their songs. That doesn't mean that in K-pop there were not songwriters, but armies made their songwriting a thing. So other groups now are like, but hey, they have this songwriting credit and this other. And look, the songwriter line. That didn't exist before. And I remember when I made this video, so many people were talking about songwriter lines, and I was like, this is a new thing. And also, sure, there were songwriters before, but they didn't create any kind of trend. Let's say one big K-pop group wrote their songs? Who did they influence? Who did they inspire to write their own songs? Now, because BTS started to be so celebrated because they started writing their songs, now I feel like some K-pop groups really want to go that route, and they are like, look at us guys, like we're songwriters too. And I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said. Next, how BTS paved the way.
It was only after BTS entered the Billboard charts, when Billboard created charts only for K-pop. It was only after BTS started winning Western award shows, when Western award shows created K-pop categories. It was only after BTS won their first American award for top social artist, when K-pop acts opened Twitter accounts, because BTS were nominated for their Twitter engagement. It was only after BTS started getting Grammy nominations, when K-pop acts started submitting their songs to the Grammys. It was only after BTS's fandom requested to have their albums on stores like Target, when K-pop started selling their albums in stores like Target. BTS paved the way, because without them, K-pop would have remained a niche interest and wouldn't have the global platform they have today thanks to BTS.
Mostly the backlash was, of course, everyone knows, it's second generation fans, second generation K-pop fans. I'm not going to deny anything. The second generation of K-pop was revolutionary for K-pop. They did so much and they tried some other stuff that didn't work out. One of those things was promoting in America. They tried so hard and they did the best they could. Maybe it's not their fault all the time. That's what people need to understand. Just because I'm saying the second generation tried and it didn't work out, that doesn't mean that I'm insulting these groups. Maybe it was not the right time. Maybe America wasn't ready for an foreign artist yet. Maybe the internet was not ready, like so many other things. But the thing is that they didn't pave the way. Sometimes it's not their fault. I mentioned in this video that Psy went through so much because he was laughed at all the time. People wouldn't even call him by his name. People would call him Gangnam Style. He admits this. He says that BTS is achieving everything that he tried to but couldn't. And that is a fact. But no, second generation stans think that I'm trying to insult second generation groups, second generation artists. It's not just me saying it, it's these second generation artists saying it. Two of the girls of Wonder Girls also said that BTS paved the way, because we all know, and the second generation brings Wonder Girls all the time because they were the first K-pop group to enter the US Billboard chart or whatever. They said, we tried entering the American music market and they couldn't continue with promotions in America. It just didn't work out. And now BTS is achieving all of this. BTS is opening the actual doors for them. And all of this section is full of clips and moments of group after K-pop artists saying BTS paved the way, BTS paved the way. You know what? I stand by everything. Okay, next. This one is BTS versus radio.
So don't let others make you believe that BTS's number ones were inorganic, because they are the only ones with an actual fan base actively purchasing their music and not paying for radio spins every 15 minutes.
I still believe this. However, I feel like, once again, I would approach it differently. This video, because it's radio, some radio people react to this video. Literal radio
Listeners.
No listeners. The people who talk
work.
Yes. I didn't make this video for them, and I should have been. They totally can react to this video. It's just that my approach was a little strong. This is basically I hate radio. And I could have not done that. Maybe they should have played BTS then.
Yes. They could have avoided this video.
Oh no, but they love it. Radio hosts, they love the attention they get from armies. Armies, we were so clueless back then. We would give like flowers and chocolates and cupcakes
Nice.
to radio stations, and they would be like, oh, thank you so much for this and that. That meant
Not a single spin.
yes, it was just one pity stream and that was it. There was one time when an army fan account sent cupcake to the radio station, and they had like their army logo on the cupcakes from this specific fan account. And then the radio station pretended that they made these cupcakes for BTS.
What?
Yes.
We have a little something to give to you guys in celebration.
We have a little something to give to you guys.
Yes. Crazy.
And you can see that is not BTS's logo. That is the logo of the fan account on Twitter. And it's not just this specific thing. I've seen so many times certain radio hosts talking kind of negatively or weirdly, let's say weirdly, about BTS when they have so many iconic moments with BTS. I do think it needs some corrections because it was one of the first videos I made, especially because now I'm collecting, guys, for a part 2, because radio hosts don't know how to interview. And unfortunately, they are the ones who interview BTS the most. I'm not going to say that they are perfect because they are not, but sometimes TV hosts, they know how to have a conversation. They have a team that prepares the questions and the activities. I've seen so many of these radio questions and they're just so bad. Not just the questions, but the attitude. You do this for a job and you don't know about BTS. Like when Mario Lopez interviewed BTS, he didn't know who they were. At least do some quick research. Watch up one performance. Like, it's so infuriating. I am collecting moments from interviewers, and it's about interviewers being bad interviewers with BTS. I feel like sometimes ARMY, the love they have for everyone who collaborates with BTS is not just artists. Sometimes it's interviewers. And honestly, I'm tired of it. And I'm going to talk about that in part 2, because why are you following someone who interviewed BTS and treated them nice? Every interviewer should know their job.
Should be professional.
Should be professional and have good questions and make BTS, the artist, comfortable and make them good questions. That is the bare minimum. I'm not following them
for doing their job.
Yes, especially when years after of being loved because they interview BTS nicely once or twice, years after they come out and say BTS is of the past and I like this other K-pop group now. And you know what's the worst part? That BTS is going to come back and this is going to interview them again.
Yeah.
Because BTS loves these
for
people.
Sure.
Part 2 coming soon.
Let's see the next one.
Okay. The Attendance Awards.
And reserves the right in its sole discretion to determine the winners. Read that again. MTV's sponsor reserves the right to determine the winners. So it doesn't matter if an artist loses the votings. If MTV wants them to win, they have the right to do so and not tell you about it.
I don't like this video. I did it so fast. This is not my best script in my opinion. I think I could have done like a better job. This is such a big subject. I feel like I could have been more, not serious, but like I could have done more. And I could have given more reasons and more examples. Deep is the word. I feel like I could have gone even deeper than this.
Yeah, in depth.
Yes, in depth. This is the big problem that I have with the video essays. People ask me to make a video about a specific thing. I get so many of those comments and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it as fast as I can. Because now this is like a fresh topic. So I need to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Next week, people are not going to care. And that was a big problem.
I still feel like it was a very good video. So important information was in there. And a lot of people liked it because it like takes the mask of a lot of things. So I still give that video a lot of credit.
We're always going to care. Just take your time. That is something that I learned with years. The first year, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to make the videos that people were asking for. So if something happened, I dropped everything on my channel and focused on that video and try to make that video like in 1 week and post it when sometimes I just need time. And now I do. That's why there are times when something happens and the video is coming out like a month or 2 months after it happened. So I believe it needs a remake. Okay, next is BTS versus Spotify.
In Spotify's year-end charts, BTS was the 5th most streamed artist, but they were completely left out of Spotify's Artist of the Year playlist, giving their number 5 position to Ed Sheeran.
Honestly, this was just like the wrong people found the video and started like mass disliking it. But I think it was a great video. Like I mostly stand by everything I've said. Honestly, it's mostly about there are some videos that I just cannot watch them again because I'm like, I was so bad at making videos. When I first started, I was like, my B-roll is horrible. I'm repeating the same images again and again. My pronunciation is also bad. My grammar is bad. Only making these videos, I realized that you don't say the past of debut is debut. But
to say debuted.
I said debuted so many times, so many videos,
That's so embarrassing.
hundreds of thousands of views, and I say debuted, and it's so embarrassing because I didn't know. I didn't know. My
just needed
videos
to
from
start.
2022, the first video that I made, which is not actually like the first video that you guys see on the channel, is the second one. BTS versus boy bands coming back. Let's go to that video because I can roast that video to hell.
Oh my goodness.
Number 1, why is the title so bad? Why did I name it? BTS versus boy bands coming back? I had to say BTS versus the comeback of boy bands or something like
Something that made sense.
That's number 1. Number 2, what is this thumbnail?
Is the thumbnail
It
you
has
chose?
1,000 people in it. It has BTS, Big Time Rush, The Wanted, and the Jonas Brothers, and not 1 or 2 members. It has every single member. It has every member. How many people are here? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 people in the thumbnail.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot
it
of-
looks like the Glee Club.
Someone said the thumbnail made me want to watch it. LOL, the all back is the best. Because I wrote on the thumbnail, we are all back. I think we all sing. So number 1, I hate the title. Number 2, I hate the thumbnail. And number 3, my voice is so low and like, hi guys. Like, this is my first. It's so bad. Like, listen to this.
It's not very clear in which
That caught me so off guard. That is so sweet. That is so sweet.
it was clear that they became the biggest boy.
Wait, pause. Where have you ever had this voice? Like,
I don't remember.
No, because I remember watching your video and I was like, yeah, that's her voice. Like, that's how she talks. That is
Than
hilarious.
in America and in the world. However, this
in America and in the world.
That's so sweet.
And also, it's only 12 minutes. I cannot do videos in 12 minutes.
No, because you just have so much.
I
so much to say.
just have so much to say. Like, anyways, that was not a controversial video. That was just the first video I made. Erica says one video that was controversial was the video of the masterminds behind BTS. I don't remember that it was controversial. Maybe it was, but you know what? In the last year, maybe I have this rule that I'm going to read the comments for the first 24 hours, and that's it. I just cannot read comments. I cannot make videos and then dedicate my entire day to just reading the comments, because there are going to be negative comments always. So I just don't look at any of that. Okay, so let's get back to the last video.
I think we shouldn't take these lines and roles too seriously. It's fine when they are used to give a basic introduction to the members of the group, but this shouldn't limit their talents and growth.
Okay, so this video is about K-pop lines. I believe to this day we're just going to disagree on this one, and that's okay. This video is basically about the problem that I have with K-pop lines, like giving all of this importance to this member is the main vocal and this other member is the lead vocal, and if you say otherwise, you're wrong. And there's just so much importance to it, and people really take it very seriously. I just don't. There was so much back and forth in the comments. I commented, hi guys, this is not an explanation video of the lines. This is my opinion on why I don't like them so much. Like I said, the lines are a bit of a mess because there are many disagreements on who is the lead, main, and sub, as seen in this comment section and in the many introduction videos to BTS. They all say something different, and you can say Big Hit said in 2018 that this member is the main vocal or whatever. That changes nothing to me. The singers sing beautifully and they are all different. I'm not going to call anyone a sub vocalist. I don't care if that is like an official role in K-pop. Why should we give importance to the difference between main and lead vocal? Like, so complicated for no reason. These are the vocalists and these are the rappers. They each have their own unique styles, and I'm sorry, but I don't care about the main, lead, and sub. Especially in a group like BTS, it doesn't really matter exact. Because when I made this video, I searched for guides, not just on YouTube, but also like on K-pop forums and fandoms and all that kind of stuff, to see which members they consider what. And so people disagree. And in this video, I say people disagree. People are like, why are you saying that people disagree when Big Kid actually said this? And it's like, even if they officially mentioned something one time, doesn't mean anything, because the BTS members have never said anything of those roles. They've said two things. RM is the leader, Jungkook is the center.
It's not that deep.
That is just the K-pop way of seeing things, but honestly, I don't think it helps BTS in any kind of way. And also, another big thing was that I understand having like pretty people in a group, but to basically rank them and divide them by the ones who are beautiful and the ones who are not, and the ones who are, they are in the visual line because they fit beauty standards. What are we doing? This is a music group.
Visual and looks are so subjective that shouldn't even be a thing. It's so disrespectful.
That's what I said in the video, and I remember that people would be like, I totally agree with that, but at the end of the day, they do have that role in K-pop groups. And I'm like, okay, that's a problem. Mostly it's like redundant, like I stand by what I've said. Let's say, for example, this one, when I made this video, I had a vision and I had some opinions, and now I maintain those opinions, but the comments that I received have expanded my vision on the topic. There's so much more to what I've said in this video. I agree with some of the criticism. Of course, not all of it, because people are crazy sometimes, but I accept it. You did what you could with the information you had at the time. That's what I always try to do. Also, some of your videos are from like 3 years ago, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's the other thing. I try to be nice to past me, because yes, like I can roast my first video, but it's my first video. I tried my best. I literally did everything I could. I didn't know how to do things. I didn't know how to edit videos. I didn't know how to write videos. I didn't know if people would even care. I just did what I could.